Hey everybody, out here at the farm today. I wanted to show you these sunflowers. They have really taken off and they are absolutely gorgeous now. You'll see some butterflies up in there. So pretty. I'm going to try and save as many of the heads for seed as I can. Like you'll see that one right there that's hanging where it's facing the ground. That one should be ready for me to harvest for seeds. I'm going to try and save as many as I can, even though I have some more of this seed. Because these grew so well here this year, I like to save the seeds that grew well in my environment, because these will be slightly different than what I planted. Merely because they grew in my environment and not another environment. So you'll see right here, there's a really good seed head right there. I don't know if you can see that one right there. That's perfect for picking. So I'll see if I can climb over in there and grab that. But you'll see, show them to you. The zinnias down in there are looking really beautiful. They're kind of hard to see amongst all the weeds. I don't know. I think I'll probably plant them like this again just because it's been really pretty. But I also think I'll plant zinnias in a separate row where they're easier to pick and make arrangements and things. But look how beautiful that red one is. Just gorgeous. But these are definitely coming into their prime now, and it's just absolutely beautiful. I took them a long time to bloom, but now that they have, it's just gorgeous. But anyways, that's my rant on those for a while. I'm going to bring you over here and see if we can get to actual work today. I haven't been able to do much out here this week. My mom had to have emergency eye surgery, so most of the week's been taken up doing that and driving back and forth to the big city. So I'm a little behind on pretty much everything. But one of the big things I'm definitely going to have to do is pick these peas real quick. So these are pink eye purple hull peas, not to be confused with just purple hull peas. So these are, let's see if I can open you up a batch. Find a real good, yeah, this one. These are the black-eyed pea version. The just straight purple hull peas are more of a cowpea, so they're kind of a pinto bean sort of bean, a more meatier bean. These are, like said, your black-eyed pea. Let's see if I can get this one open one-handed to show you. But you'll see right there, you got a pink eye on it, and it's a little black-eyed pea. And you can eat these. You can go ahead and cook these from this. Obviously, you shell them out of this pod, but you can go ahead and cook them from that, or you can let them stay on the plant longer and dry, or you can harvest them and dry them yourself. You can do so many different things with them, can them, freeze them, however it is you like to have them. I probably will just fresh eat these, depending on how many I end up with, because I'll share these with my parents and my brother. So it's several people to eat on these. So I think it'll probably just be a fresh eating situation. You'll see the plants aren't looking too great. A lot of that I think is because they fell over. And that's kind of exposed their topsoil, as you can see right there. And so it's kind of getting them too hot down in there and drying them out too much. So I honestly may just have 1 or 2 pickings of these. It may not be that many. I'll turn, well, I was going to say I'll turn the irrigation back on these, but we're supposed to have rain pretty much Sunday forward. So I probably won't bother with the irrigation just yet. I'm not currently irrigating anything because we've been getting an inch of rain here and there, and everything out here was getting too soggy. So I'm not bothering with irrigating. You'll see my eggplants amongst the weeds are pretty much done. I've harvested plenty off of them, so that's okay for them to get going. You'll see Juliet here, the volunteer tomato, is in her prime. She is loaded with tomatoes that I need to pick and loaded with green ones. So she's doing wonderfully. I wish she had come up in a different place because I want to completely take out this row and put something new in, but that's okay. I'll work around her because she is so happy and doing so well. Here you'll see the sweet potatoes finally coming into their own as well, which is great. Now I do have to be careful now with these sweet potatoes because I do know that they're starting to make potatoes under there. I accidentally, when I was weeding the other day, I accidentally dug one up a little bit and it had a little sweet potato on it, probably about 3 inches long. So now that I know these are making sweet potatoes, I have to be careful with how much water they get. So I don't really want to do much irrigating, if any. And with the rain coming, I'm not going to bother with any irrigating. You'll see that they're kind of wilty there, but that's okay. That's not bad. They're not dying. It's just, it's pretty hot right now and they're in the bright sun. So it's probably right at 90 degrees right now. So it's hot on them. I've taken away their shade from the weeds, but they'll keep on going. I'll let them stay in the ground probably all the way to frost, unless we start getting a long stretch of really wet weather. I'll go ahead and dig them up because I don't want them to rot in the ground, and they will in this sandy, it's like a sandy loam soil, and this up on this end especially stays pretty wet and holds the water, so I'll have to watch and make sure that it doesn't get too wet on them. But that's where they are. Peppers, these were supposed to be red bell peppers, these ones here on the end, and I haven't gotten any just yet. They're still working on making peppers, but I haven't gotten any red ones yet. These purple ones had quite a few rotten ones on here, but now that I've gotten the weeds away from them and helped dry them out some, that has helped. These lime green peppers, they were supposed to be yellow bell peppers. They have just been so prolific. I have picked and picked and picked off of these plants and gotten so many lime green peppers. So that's a variety that I'll definitely try and keep in mind. These jalapenos, I'll show you. Let's see how many are on this one. This one has fallen over. It's got a few on there. I picked them pretty clean earlier in the week because I made some salsa, and I'll put those videos in here for you if you'd like to see some salsa making. But I picked them pretty clean, so I don't expect, there's a few down in there, but these plants were absolutely loaded. Look at the peas. I'm gonna have so many to pick. So you want to pick these when they get, I forgot to say that, you want to pick them when they turn completely pink. You don't want to pick them when they're still green. Look at that. It is way more than I thought. Goodness. Okay, well that's going to be fun. Super excited about that because I love a fresh black-eyed pea. But anyways, the peppers have been doing really, really well. Now they're getting kind of choked out by these weeds. So I need to get in here and spend some time getting the weeds out, and hopefully I'll be able to do that over the next week. It's just, like I said, been so busy. I just haven't been able to devote the time that I needed to out here. You'll see the squash pretty much giving up the ghost. But those plants have been going since early May. So I'm actually really, really impressed that they have done so well. But I'll refresh that whole row, take that whole row out. Probably not long behind it, take out the black-eyed pea row, and that'll give me 2 rows that I can do something with. I'll clean up this pepper row as best I can. But look at these green beans. Y'all, I have picked green beans off of these plants 7 times now, these exact same plants. And look at them. Look how covered in blooms and baby green beans they are. I don't understand it. I didn't know that they would do that. So I'm letting them hang out because I don't have the heart to pull up plants that are blooming so well. So we're just going to let them go, and I'm going to come back and pick them when I get a chance. Look at the sweet potato vine has come across the aisle and up into and over the green bean plants. So we'll have to get him directed back where he needs to go. But yeah, these plants are wild. I don't know what happened. And the bug pressure has gotten way, way less. So I don't know. I'm just going to let them keep going and see how many times I can pick them, I guess. Supposedly the green beans that you pick in the fall or the cooler weather, the cooler parts of summer, supposedly they're the best tasting ones. So it'll be interesting to see if these plants producing green beans at the end of the season, it'll be interesting to see if those taste any different than the ones I preserved at the beginning of the season. To see if there's anything to that, or if they have to be new plants in the fall that give you the good taste, but we'll see. We'll find out. But they are looking absolutely amazing and definitely surprising me. These butter beans are blooming and blooming and blooming, and look, you've got some little tiny butter bean pods, which is awesome, and this rain we're about to get should hit them just right. Now, they're going to be kind of a pain to pick because of the weeds, but more than likely they'll be a one-pick situation, so I probably will come through and actually pull up the plants when I'm ready to pick them, and I'll just pull up the whole plant and take the pods off, sitting down in the shade somewhere. Tomatoes, they've pretty much done like said. I did cut some cuttings off of this left-hand side, the celebrity tomatoes, because like said, these are the semi-determinate tomatoes. So as you can see, they've gone ahead and started putting out new tomatoes and new blooms and all that sort of thing. And I'll let these continue to grow, but I did take some cuttings so I could make some new plants, and the new plants I'll put in a different location since the tomato pests and diseases are now in this location. So I'll let these keep going until my other ones are established, which should take, I don't know, maybe 2 weeks to really get them going. And then at that point, we'll take all of this out. I may go ahead and take the Mountain Fresh side out because they are done. Other than I may have a few straggly tomatoes to pick, but for the most part, they're going to be done. Here's the tops of tomatoes that I trimmed off. You can see one has actually bloomed, but I have them in this jar of water, and nobody's made any roots just yet, but I expect it won't take too long. And they may not all live, they may not all make roots, so I got quite a few extras, probably about a dozen in here, but hopefully these will be some nice new tomato plants soon. This is what I ended up with. A bunch of little Juliet tomatoes, some poblanos, some jalapenos, some speckly tomatoes. That's caused by stink bugs. Some curly eggplants. Few sunflower heads so I can dry those. And about 3/4 of a bushel of black-eyed peas. I started shelling some of them, and they're looking really good. And we'll get the rest of those done. But not a bad harvest. Obviously, tomatoes and peppers are starting to slow down, and the eggplant pretty much done. So, time to be transitioning over to the next things. Then, of course, the corn patch. Nothing to see there other than a bunch of morning glories and some volunteer zinnias. I do think there's some volunteer tomato plants over in there, different varieties. But all of that, hopefully we'll be able to get the tractor in through that and disc that up and come up with something else to plant. It's kind of looking like all of the garden is going to be at the same time or relatively close to the same time. So it may be a situation that we just completely redo everything and take the tractor through and just completely disc and do away with everything. Oh, if you look really close, we'll see if we can get them without scaring them away. There are some little goldfinches in those sunflowers. I don't know that we're going to be able to see them, but they just flew over there. A male and a female. They absolutely love sunflower seeds. I don't think you're going to be able to see them, but they're over there. You can hear them. But yeah, so hopefully we'll be able to redo this whole garden all at the same time, which would be awesome, and get it ready for the fall when we hope to plant a bunch of green peas and probably cabbage and broccoli and carrots and all those sorts of things. Over here to the newer green bean patch, you'll see they also are blooming and putting on some teeny tiny green beans, and they're definitely hurting for water. So this rain, we're supposed to get, I think, over an inch the next couple of days, so that will definitely help them. I actually may turn the irrigation on for tonight because it's been such a hot day, and help all of these things that are fruiting make it through the next day or so. This is my empty space that's supposed to be the butter beans. That hasn't happened yet. I do have the seed, and I have tilled this up twice now, but I think I'm going to come through and till it a third time to make sure all these weeds are gone, because I'm tired of fighting weeds. So get all this nice and cleaned up, and then we should be able to make some nice rows and get our butter beans in the ground there. Now these flowers over here, look at this cute little sunflower. Remember, these are the volunteers that planted themselves. They're still hanging in there. The second row that I planted, the interior one, is starting to have some little blooms in it. Also, these over here are really struggling because of the dryness, and that's because they're right here at the woods. So these trees are pulling a lot of their water. But look at these. They are beautiful. They're really taking off. I don't remember what they are. I'll have to look them up. This I know is some wild thorny amaranth, which is really cool. You can eat it if you want to, but I will not be. These are some marigolds that if we get some rain, should hopefully finally take off. Beautiful cosmos. I love this really bright, vibrant pink. Gorgeous. But yeah, that's where we are. That's how things are doing. I still have the empty row on that side as well. But I think, like I said, I'm at the point where it may be a complete garden overhaul to really get a handle on all these weeds. As you'll see there, the weeds in that corn patch are just horrendous. They have taken off and gone absolutely crazy. So that's something we'll definitely have to do something about. Look, the purslane, oops, I'm blocking it. The purslane survived me tilling, which is pretty cool. Doing its thing. Look, there's a piece of glass. There was an old home in front of the home that's currently there. And so I think that's where we get these random pieces of glass and pottery and things from, or from that old home site. But that's where the garden is. That's how everything is looking. It's a beautiful day today. It's super clear, just those cute fluffy clouds in the sky. No chance of rain today. Just hot, bright sun. Humidity's not bad. I think it's around 50%, so that's not bad at all. But it is hot. It is 90 degrees, probably more than that in the sun. And not the best time of day to be picking anything. But got a little shade coming in, and that'll get more shady as I'm picking. So not too bad. But yeah, that's where everything's at. Give you another look at these gorgeous sunflowers with this blue sky. It's just beautiful. But thanks for coming along. I hope you've had a better week, and if you haven't, I hope your weeks get better. And I appreciate you being here. Appreciate you sharing this video with anyone you think might be interested. And if you like this video and it's the first time you're around, go back and watch some of the other ones. Especially last year, there was a lot more education and teaching in last year's videos. And hopefully we'll get back to that. Hopefully I'll have a little more time and emotional bandwidth to be able to get back and do these videos like I should be doing. Again, I apologize for that. It's just been a whole lot going on. But y'all take care, and thanks for being here.